are officially 0%.
Oh my god.
KRZLE.
Yeah. Charles. Yeah.
Burt Reynolds pulls out a banana and
Yes,
starts
that's where I was
peeling it.
going.
Butterfly kisses.
Oh my god. Hey, fuck these drums.
The synopsis just isn't good. Oh my god. Okay. And on that note.
Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of What Was That Called Again? My name is Thomas.
I'm Will.
This is one of them movie podcasts, but the difference is, in this one, I select 3 movies, and then I read their IMDb plot descriptions to Will, and then Will tries to match the plot descriptions to the correct title.
That's right.
And if he gets any of them wrong, he has to be placed in a rocket ship with a billionaire and sent off into a space trip. So
I mean that sounds awesome, but being trapped with a billionaire, I don't know if that.
Yep.
I mean, well, it could be awesome. I mean, am I coming back?
It depends on if Musk's spaceships bring you back or not, because maybe they'll work, maybe they won't.
So really, it's a high likelihood that I'm not going to come back. So I could this could be a win. I could just completely. I am going to go with him, right? Like you're saying, I'm going with. We're flying together.
It could be him. It could be Bezos. It
doesn't matter to me.
Whoever the last one was that went.
Sure.
That made it for some reason. So yeah, let's hop on into a drink check.
Yeah.
What do you?
Go ahead.
What do you sit? Oh, I'll go first, I guess.
Oh,
that's
sorry. I'll go first then.
Please, after you.
Go ahead. No, yeah, I'll go. I am drinking a coffee. It is early evening.
Yeah.
Early after. It's mid-afternoon, I'll say. I don't know what time it is, actually. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, and I am drinking a cup of coffee to kind of spice up the recording session here. Yeah. And I also have poured way too much rum into it. So it is mostly rum with a little bit of coffee, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
What about yourself?
Yeah, that's the way to go. I just polished off a delicious glass of homemade carbonated water.
I thought you were going to say homemade wine again. I was like,
nope,
geez, dude,
never had homemade wine. But I finished that sparkling water, and now
drink of the show, by the way.
Yes, the WWTCA staple, and now I am.
Right.
I just poured myself a glass of Prisoner brand wine. This one is called Unshackled, which
so they're going to escape next.
They could. They're just unshackled. They're still probably behind bars,
or maybe they're just yard time.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just this is.
Either way,
their 1 hour of freedom.
Wherever it was that they made this in the prison, this one is also really good, and it's also like half the price of the Prisoner wine proper.
Oh, it's because they're unshackled. The shackles make it more hard, more difficult to make, so the price is expensive.
I think so. So this is good stuff. I have not actually had a sip of it yet at the time.
Are these red or white?
Red.
You've never really said.
They're red. This is a Cabernet, as it were. Very good stuff. So, Will, this week, so we have 3 movies that we never went over. So, last time we recorded, the last 2 times we recorded, I gave you the option, like I gave you a number, right? We have an episode worth of movies that we never even used from the last 2 times we recorded, but I also have 3 new movies that I went through and picked out. So my question to you is, are you going to give me the number 1 or the number 2?
Which one is the number 1? Is the number 1 last week's pile?
Who knows?
Oh, okay. So it's just random
that
guess.
One might be saved for another week. We'll never know until you say a number, I guess.
Because I was going to go ahead and say 2.
Okay.
I want to give you number 2.
All right, number 2. And it just so happens, Will, that number 2 is the third selection of movies from 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So this one is one that has been in the
I was actually wanting to I was wanting to punt that one down another week, but that's okay. That's fine.
Yep, well, you fucked that one up then.
I did.
So we're going to be going in chronological order of release this week, as typical. And we're going to be starting off your journey in the year 2016.
Gosh, these are so recent. Whenever you say chronology, I'm thinking 60s. No, this is 8 years ago.
Yeah, within your span of memory, I think.
Well, I mean, okay.
We'll see. So your first film from 2016, and the synopsis from IMDb for this film reads as follows. A new sheriff of a small town along the U.S. and Mexico border investigates a drug cartel deal that went horribly wrong.
Ooh, I think do I know this movie? 2016?
Yep.
A new sheriff of a small town on the U.S.-Mexico border investigates a what?
A drug cartel deal that went horribly wrong.
Okay. I recall the drug cartel part. It was just the deal. Okay, so he investigates a drug cartel deal that went horribly wrong. Okay. Interesting. 2016.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a modern era Western, maybe, but also crime drama. Okay. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now.
Oh, great place to leave it. Your second film this week is going to come from the year 2018.
Okay.
And the synopsis reads as follows. A former cop turned militiaman investigates a shooting at a police funeral.
Ooh. This also sounds familiar. No, this feels familiar.
Oh.
Doesn't sound familiar. Yeah, it doesn't sound... Yeah. It feels familiar.
Yeah.
The first one sounded familiar. Okay, 2018. Say this one more time.
If you wish.
I do.
A former cop turned militiaman investigates a shooting at a police funeral.
2018, a former cop turned militiaman investigates a shooting at a police funeral.
You got it.
Okay, so I wonder, that makes me wonder, did he... was he on the same force as this officer who's being buried? Did he just know him, her, or did this become his, I guess, priority because of him being a militiaman? I don't even know how that even works into this. Like I said, it feels familiar for some reason. Why? I don't know. 2018 is the part that's actually making it seem less familiar. But, okay. Next film, please. I'll leave that one right where I left it as well.
Yeah, I like how that one, from the first one to the second one, your brain has it's started to short circuit slightly. With each one, it kind of breaks a little more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fragile item, so yes.
2019 is your final movie.
Okay.
From year 2019, the synopsis for this one reads as follows. Nick escapes his criminal past and two partners, gets a steady job, a friend at work, and marries the sheriff's daughter. But his past catches up with him when his ex-partners track him down and want their share of the loot.
Oh, of the loot. Okay. I remember there was Nick, and there's something about a criminal past, I think. But other than that, my brain broke whenever you threw in that secondary...
the last two made it crack a little bit.
Yeah,
and this
one,
well, just crumbled.
On this one, it was really... I thought it was over, and then you threw in that extra bit about his ex-friends or whatever. So read this one more time just for clarity's sake.
Yeah.
2019. I got that much.
Nick escapes his criminal past and two partners, gets a steady job, a friend at work, and marries the sheriff's daughter.
But
his past catches up with him when his ex-partners track him down and want their share of the loot.
So Nick escapes his criminal past. So he doesn't just end. He doesn't stop being a criminal necessarily. He or he doesn't go to jail first and then be reformed. He escapes it. So why was he a criminal in the first place? Did he really want to be? And then how did he escape? So he escapes his criminal past. You said that he starts over, or he starts anew with his girlfriend.
He escapes his criminal past and 2 partners.
Yeah,
gets a steady job, a friend at work,
okay.
and marries the sheriff's daughter.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah. So marries the sheriff. I thought it was he found a girlfriend. So he gets a steady job, a friend at work, and marries the sheriff's daughter. Okay.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, I mean, his whole, what more could Nick want? He's got a friend at work. Yeah. Okay, so he escapes his criminal past and his 2 partners, finds a job, gets a friend at work, marries the sheriff's daughter. But those 2 partners come back wanting their share of the loot. So he didn't just leave.
Yeah, he left with all of the money.
It sounds like he tried to like get away from it and take like the earnings too. So Nick's a jackass, is what he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Nick has coming to him whatever he's deserved.
Maybe that's the interesting perspective on this. Is like we think that he's the good guy. He like escaped his criminal past and all this stuff. But then you find out that actually he's the scumbag, and the other 2 guys.
He left his 2 partners high and dry. He fled. Yeah. So it clearly has also been some time too. So I wonder if his partners were left behind, or if his partners were caught, and then Nick wasn't caught. So Nick was like, "Well, this is my way out. I'm just going to take the money and go hide and start a new life. Get a friend at work. Clearly, is a priority.
That's the most important part.
Right? And then he happens to marry the sheriff's daughter. I wonder if Nick was conflicted whenever he met this woman. If he starts to fall for her.
Your dad's a pig.
I mean, I wasn't going to go to that level, but I was just going to say that, like, he was already nervous about meeting her dad, and then he finds out that her dad is a law enforcement official, and he's like, "Oh shit," I mean.
And then the dad's like, "You look kind of familiar.
Yeah, you look.
Have I seen you around town before?"
just jokingly, the dad's like, "Have I seen you on a wanted poster?" And Nick's like, I'm just kidding with you, son. You wouldn't be on a wanted poster. You're too good for my daughter."
You're too good for her. She deserves worse.
Yeah, you're too good for her. She actually deserves a criminal. If you were a criminal, I'd buy it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me try to recap all these. I think you said that the first film was 2016. Yes,
I did.
And this film was. Give me the first action word again.
Yeah, a new sheriff.
Oh, God. Okay. Is this the border sheriff? Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, so this is a new sheriff in a small town on the Mexico border.
Yep.
Investigates a drug cartel deal that went bad.
Correct.
Okay. 2016. Like I said, that one sounds familiar. The next one in 2018, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
This one felt familiar, and this one was the former police officer turned. Did you say militiaman?
Yes.
Investigates a shooting at a police burial.
Correct.
Feels familiar. Doesn't sound familiar. Okay. And then the last film was 2019. Mm-hmm. And this was Nick, who escaped his criminal past and, while leaving his 2 partners behind, lands a new job, a friend at work, and marries the sheriff's daughter. But those 2 partners basically come back for Nick, wanting their share of the loot.
You got it.
So some time has had to have passed because it takes a little bit of time to get a job.
It takes a little bit more time to make a friend at work.
I was going to say it takes the most time to get a friend at work. I was going to say it takes a little bit more time to get married to a sheriff's daughter.
He also meets a woman, dates her for a while, and then proposes and gets married.
But I mean, in all these movies, it's like that's like what, like 6 months before marriage, right? And then the big one is actually having a friend at work. A friend at work.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, like I said, those partners come back. So yeah, that last one does not feel or sound familiar at all. I'm curious as to what the titles might bring me. Title me, please.
I bet you are. The first title you're going to get is going to be Into the Ashes.
Oh gosh, Into the Ashes. I don't have anything for that. It doesn't sound familiar. Into the Ashes? What? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Like I could understand Into the Flames, or I could understand From the Ashes. But into the Ashes. It's like, we are a cigarette butt in a full ashtray. Into the ashes. I don't know. Ashes sounds like something that is spent or past, maybe. So we're going back into that life, back into that reality. So maybe, just off of initial thoughts here, this might be the 2018 film where the ex-police officer basically goes back into the world of being a police officer with this whole shooting and everything. I still don't understand what they mean by militiaman. I mean, because when I hear that, I think of like this dude like reenacting like the 1812 war or something. Like what? Like I can understand him being a mercenary, or I can understand him being, something along those lines. But the militiaman is what's throwing me off there with that. Into the Ashes. Could it be the first film?
Could it? Probably could.
Because, like, again, the ashes could be something that's not wanted. Could be something that is undesirable. The leftovers, the leavings, the fallout.
Could be just like the ashes and dust on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Sure, it could be literal in that sense. I was thinking more like it could be something that this new sheriff is used to investigating, more domestic level crimes, and this time he has to really, if he really wants to investigate this cartel deal gone wrong, he really has to get into the the bad part of Into the Ashes, as one might say.
Yeah.
So maybe that one. I don't know if it fits the last film though. Into the Ashes, and then it's about a guy leaving. I mean,
maybe at his new job where he makes a friend, he's just like covered in soot.
Maybe they're making like charcoal or something. I was trying to think. Like what is what process?
He's always wiping the ash and the soot from his face.
Into the Ashes. But if he was wiping it, if he was removing the ashes, I don't believe that the title fits there. I think this is
No, maybe that's the name of the company.
Wait, the company's called Into the Ashes?
Into the Ashes.
Wait, what do they make?
They're cremating.
Oh, God.
It's a cremation service. Here
at Into the Ashes, we take pride in serving your family respectably, and we will literally go into the ashes for whatever belongings may have been left on their person at the time of burning. Into the ashes.
I'm Gary. I just started here. I'll make sure Paul gets a good burning.
Hey, are you Nick's friend?
No, never met him.
Okay. Oh, must be the one other guy who works here.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's Jimmy. He works in the back.
Jimmy's a friend with everybody, though, so it's not really Nick who's great. It's just Jimmy's nice. Okay. So Into the Ashes. First title, I think it maybe be the 2018 film. I'm just gonna hold it for now. Second title, please.
Your second title to go off of is going to be The Hollow Point.
Ooh, okay. Hollow Point. All right.
The Hollow Point.
The Hollow Point.
Oh yeah, don't forget that.
Okay. I mean, I want to say police activity for some reason. I want to say like maybe gang activity. So that would again go with the cartel thing, or it could also go with, I mean, they're all copulated. I don't know. The Hollow Point?
Yep.
I'm sure this is like a double meaning here. The Hollow Point. Because investigating a police shooting?
Maybe the friend at work, every time he talks to people, He like points at them whenever he's talking to them.
I thought you were going to say that like he doesn't have a point to his conversation. He's just really annoying. So it's like his points are always hollow. He just starts talking and it's like, God damn it, Nick. Like just fucking get to the point. Okay, the hollow point. So originally I had said that the ex-cop militiaman investigating police shooting 2018 film might be Into the Ashes.
You did say that.
But now I'm thinking it maybe be the hollow point.
Oh.
Because there's a shooting involved. So, I mean, already we're talking about at least some kind of projectile. Again, there's gangs in the first... Well, there could be gangs in all three of these, but at least it seems like there's some kind of gang or criminal group-related activity in the first and third film. And maybe they might be more likely to use hollow points to really get the job done. I don't know what kind of bullets the cartel uses, but I'm going to imagine that they're not,
Yeah, I don't know. We know that they use machetes and chainsaws.
That'd be awesome if it was just all hand-to-hand combat. Like that'd be a badass movie already. Okay, yes, I don't have anything for the hollow point. Third title, hopefully the third title helps.
Okay, let's find out, shall we? Your final title to go off of is going to be The Standoff at Sparrow Creek.
Oh, damn. The Standoff at Sparrow Creek just screams of Western. And I said that...
I always loved that title. I think that's an awesome title.
It's an awesome title, yeah. I never heard of it before. The Standoff at Sparrow Creek, you said? Mm-hmm. Sparrow? The Standoff at Sparrow Creek. I mean, like I said, that sounds Western. And the 2016 film about the new sheriff in a small town, there's a crime group, back in the 50s it would have been the whatever gang, but now it's, in modern era, it's the cartel.
This is just the Jets and the Sharks on the border?
No, I'm really thinking it's more like an actual Western. Like this is like a modern day Western. So the title fits most there. Wait, what was it again? The Standoff at Sparrow Creek? Yeah. Okay. So we got Into the Ashes, The Hollow Point, and classic. The Standoff at Sparrow Creek. Yeah, I had to answer myself, yeah.
Yeah, Will asks the question aloud and immediately answers.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately.
What was this, the Standoff at Sparrow Creek?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. The third film... I don't feel like the third film with Nick finding a new job and leaving this past life and blah 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 blah. I mean, even though he's probably going to have to confront his former partners at some time, I don't feel like that's a standoff situation.
No, I like the version of the movie where his ex-partners never find him.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
he never has to confront.
Nick would never get married.
we keep going back and forth, and they're like closing in, but they just never cross paths.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder too.
Right into the Ashes funeral service. I like the movie opening with like a TV commercial for the funeral home.
Yeah, the funeral home.
The Ashes.
Well, no, it's not even a funeral home. It's just a crematorium. Yeah, just crematorium. That's all it is. And they just, it has like that kind of
television commercial.
It's that slightly out of focus, like smudged lens look. Where everything's kind of glossy or shimmery, and there's like some soft like heart music in the background. Into the Ashes crematorium. Okay. So yeah, the Standoff at Sparrow Creek. Man, if that's not the 2016 movie about the new sheriff in a small town, because that really just feels like that has to be like a Western title. But then the question becomes, okay, where does the Hollow Point and where does Into the Ashes go? I still feel like the Hollow Point goes best with the former police officer turned militiaman investigating a police burial. The shooting at a police burial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just because it says they're shooting in the title. So that's really the only reason I'm linking those together. And then Into the Ashes, I don't know why. Again, Because, I mean, even in the beginning, when we first had that title, I didn't even link any reason to Nick and his past crime life. Into the Ashes. Why would... I feel like... that title's really annoying me. I don't think that's Standoff. I mean, maybe that is the hollow point, and then the police burial shooting thing is Into the Ashes. So that could be where if I get one of these right, that's where the switch is. Because I really feel, at least for now, I really feel that the 2016 film about the new sheriff in a small town who investigates a drug cartel deal gone wrong, gone bad, I really feel like that is Standoff at Sparrow Creek. So I'm going to lock that one in. Now, do I go with the hollow point with the shooting one, just because it feels like that's obvious? I don't know. I feel like I go against that logic. I feel like Into the Ashes fits more with the 2018 film of a former police officer turned militiaman investigating a shooting at a police burial. I feel like that one fits more with Into the Ashes than the other film, so therefore I'm going to go with that. So Into the Ashes 2018, locking that one in. So that leaves the 2019 film about Nick and escaping his life of crime and is leaving his two partners behind, landing a new job, finding a work friend, and marrying the sheriff's daughter. All for those partners just to come back and try to take that away from him. I'm going to call that one the hollow point. Why? Okay. I mean, if I can make a reason... just because a hollow point does a lot of damage, and so does some of Nick's past involvements.
Yeah,
and he thinks he's come out scot-free, but that damage is still kind of ricocheting and bouncing around, and it's going to come get him. So that's why I'm going to say that one's a hollow point. So there we go. I'm going to lock all those in, and hopefully at least I got one.
Alrighty. With that locked in place, that gives you 0 out of 3 correct.
Oh my gosh, 0. That's the first. It's been a while since I've gotten 0.
Yeah.
Okay, so I literally just have to shake up this canister again and just see where they fall. Okay. So, dang, I don't know. I was really hoping that. Okay. I'm gonna say now that the 2016 film of the new sheriff in a small town, drug cartel deal gone wrong, is Into the Ashes. Because again, I think that he's going into a place that is barren, that is undesirable, that is, worse than what it was before. Like Ashes, maybe. I'm just trying to connect the Ashes part of it and going into them. So 2016 is now Into the Ashes. I'm going to go ahead and go with the logic that maybe I should have gone with to begin with, that the 2018 film of the former police officer turned militiaman who investigates a shooting at a police burial. I'm going to call that one the hollow point, just because, again, there's a reference to a gun, an actual shooting here. And then that leaves the 2019 film of Nick, a former criminal who escapes his past and leaves his partners behind, lands a new job, a friend at work, and gets married to the sheriff's daughter. I want to call that one... Am I going to call this one? I'm just making sure I'm going to actually land on it here. Am I going to call this one... Okay, wait, hold on. I'm having second thoughts. Last minute here. Okay, Into the Ashes. He's going to go back. He's going to go into the cartel world. He's never been there before. Into the Ashes. Okay. I've got the hollow point. Again, the shooting thing. But does the standoff at Sparrow Creek does that really fit this story? I don't think it does either, but it felt like it fit the Western style movie, but it didn't go there either. So, okay, I guess I'll lock it in. The 2019 film is The Standoff at Sparrow Creek. I hope. Did I get anything right? I'm going to guess I got one right.
That is not correct. You did not get one right.
I guess I have to get all three.
Let's go ahead and get a hold of Musk because you got 0 out of 3
again.
Yeah,
that's a 2 goose egg. I don't think I've ever done that. Have I?
Maybe once or twice. I think.
I mean, the odds of getting 0 a second time are pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I'm going to pat myself on the back for that.
Yeah,
because I had a pretty good shot to get that one correct.
I agree. However, you did not. So, in 2016, we had The Hollow Point from a director named Gonzalo Lopez Gallego. This is currently available as a rental on Amazon. It's not streaming free anywhere.
Okay.
It stars Patrick Wilson in the lead. It also has Ian McShane, John Leguizamo, and Jim Belushi. At one point, Timothy Oliphant was originally cast in the lead role, but he had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts, and he was replaced by Patrick Wilson. And the last thing that I had for you on this one is that Gonzalo Lopez Gallego also directed a movie that we have talked about in the past, and I did not know this or who he was until I was researching this. He was the director of Apollo 18.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So there is a little connection for you that we are familiar with. I will say also that there wasn't a ton of information on any of these 3 movies, so this should be a pretty quick segment, I guess. And then from 2018...
I wonder what movie Timothy Oliphant was already attached to that he couldn't.
2016, I don't know. Maybe... I don't know when The Conjuring 2 came out, but it was around then.
Wait, he's in that?
Around there. Yeah.
Who's he playing?
Timothy Oliphant. I was thinking Patrick Wilson.
I was like, wait, he's in... Yeah.
I don't know. Was that TV show he was in still going in 2016? I've never watched it. Wasn't he in Deadwood?
Well, I was wondering, because the reason I was kind of asking this is because I was wondering how many other films or shows Timothy Oliphant has played a law enforcement officer or a sheriff of some kind.
I think that's all he plays.
I think so. Yeah, because I was like, I'm pretty sure in The Crazies, doesn't he also play a sheriff there?
Never watched it, either version.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm sorry. But I think he is some kind of like sheriff's deputy, maybe. I think. And then I'm pretty sure you're right about Deadwood. I think he plays something. I've never seen the show either, clearly. But yeah, but you said sheriff, and I was like, I think he only ever plays sheriffs, or at least some kind of, he has that look. He has that look about him that says man of the law.
Western sheriff.
Yeah, exactly. Specifically, yes, a small town rural sheriff. Yeah, even though if you've ever seen a small town rural sheriff, they look nothing at all like Timothy Oliphant.
Like a handsome actor.
Yeah, it's somebody with decent looks. Yeah. Okay.
There you go, Timothy. I'm sure you have good range, Timothy, but you don't really get cast.
No.
For it.
You got a sheriff role for me? I'm in.
Yeah. Well, he found what he's good at.
Hey,
and he sticks to it.
Play to your strengths, and if your strengths happen to be small town, law enforcement agent, then go for it.
Yeah, good work on you. 2018, The Standoff at Sparrow Creek from writer-director Henry Dunham. This movie also not readily streaming, but you can rent it on Amazon.
Okay.
This movie stars James Badge Dale, Chris Mulkey, and Gene Jones. Writer-director Henry Dunham has not yet released another film since The Standoff at Sparrow Creek. He has not written and directed anything before or since this film.
Interesting. One and done.
So far, there are... Whenever I looked, I think there were 1 or 2 things that he had listed on his IMDb as in development.
Oh, right.
Quotation marks as director, but there wasn't really any updates on any of those that I could find. So this, a little deep dive into the production company here. This was one of the last few films released by the now defunct company Cinestate, whom we
know. Why do I know that?
Me and you fondly remember Cinestate as the people who released S. Craig Zahler's films.
Okay, yes.
Bone Tomahawk, Brawl and Cell Block 99, Dragged Across Concrete. This is producer Dallas Saulnier's company. So, a little deep dive into this really quick is that producer and head of Cinestate and resurrector of Fangoria magazine, Dallas Saulnier, ended up getting canceled in 2020.
Yes, he did.
Following the arrest of producer Adam Donaghy, whose name I'm not even going to attempt to really pronounce correctly. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation,
Donahue,
but
maybe?
He was arrested for sexual assault and other allegations of misconduct on Cinestate Productions, which Saulnier downplayed. Thus, Fangoria was sold from Cinestate. Cinestate closed, and now Saulnier operates a new label called Bonfire Legend that he's had for a few years now. And he also works for an excellent right-wing propaganda outlet called the Daily Wire.
Oh, God.
And his social media page for Bonfire Legend on Instagram frequently spouts right-wing propaganda and garbage.
Of course.
So, a lot of quote-unquote anti-woke posts, a lot of he seems to be pretty outraged, outraged by like diverse casting and things of the like. He has produced a film recently called, I think it was, I didn't even make a note of it because it wasn't worth it. It was called like Ballers or something like that.
Okay. Oh,
and it was about,
I think I've heard of this.
I don't remember if that was the title. It was like Baller Boys or Ballers or something like that. But anyway, the plot of it on IMDb was something along the lines of like a high school basketball team that like really sucks and they want to like win games, so they decide to pretend that they're all transgender so they can play and beat a bunch of girl teams.
Wow. Okay.
So pretty good work on your Dallas Saulnier.
Yeah.
I was actually
big sigh.
Ashamed to admit at this point that I was actually quite into Cinestate, as I think a lot of people were.
This, yeah.
I don't know. Even to this day, I think a lot. I don't think I've ever watched a Cinestate film that I've disliked. I think that they were pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
They did Begus's films like VFW and his movies. I think are really fucking cool. And actually, VFW was one of the last Cinestate productions also, and that was one where Fred Williamson got canceled because an actress claimed that he was sexually harassing her on set.
Right.
To which Dallas Saulnier was like, "Oh no, it's nothing out of the ordinary."
Yeah. I wonder why he's against the whole woke thing. I mean, it seems like if people were just not woke, then he could get away with being a shitty person. I mean, that's what it seems like.
Seems that way. Well, Dallas, you're this week's Dick of the Week.
Is that a new segment? I don't know if it actually expires at the end of the week. I think it's perpetual, Dick of the Week or whatever. But okay, yeah.
But hey, thank you for bringing back Fangoria because he was
and it lives
pretty
on
key in that.
In better hands now, anyway. So
yeah, and so we can move along from that and go into 2019's film Into the Ashes. This is from filmmaker Aaron Harvey. And all I had for you on this one is that it is, at the time of recording, free to watch on the Roku channel.
All right.
This movie stars Frank Grillo, and this also stars James Badgedale, who we just heard of in Standoff at Sparrow Creek. And this also, the only other thing that I noted that was kind of interesting is that there's apparently a motel shootout sequence in this film.
Okay.
That was filmed in a single night. So good on you for shooting a whole shootout in one night.
Yeah. I mean, that takes some good planning for sure. I mean, shootouts are kind of a crazy...
As long as the shootout's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be a really shitty shootout. You're right. But,
I wonder how many... This made me think, for some reason, whenever I thought of a motel shootout, it made me think immediately of No Country for Old Men. Whenever Javier Bardem's character shows up at the motel with like the shotgun with the awesome silencer on it. And then it made me wonder how many nights it took for them to shoot that.
Yeah, more than one apparently.
Probably more than one.
Yeah,
I guess.
Which is interesting because you say No Country, and that's actually one of the movies. I knew it wasn't 2016, but whenever you first said that about the drug cartel and the sheriff. I knew it wasn't. Again, I knew it wasn't No Country for Old Men, but I was like, oh, that kind of feels like that movie. It has that same style. Is what I got from the synopsis, at least.
Yeah. So, Will.
Yes.
What do you think about the rankings on these? I'm really interested to hear how you feel the range is on these.
Well, after you described them and you gave like the cast list and the directors and stuff, I clearly have not seen these movies at all. I don't know if I've even heard of them. For some reason, they just kind of felt familiar. One sounded familiar, so I don't know. Maybe I'm going to just throw out a range. I'm kind of just throwing this out the wall. This is because I don't know these movies. I've never heard of these movies. They seem, at least from the synopsis, they seem maybe okay, but none of them really like stood out to me as being like, I want to see that type, like in episodes before we've had moments where like once you start to describe them, we're like, oh, that sounds awesome. None of these did that to me.
We've had buckle up moments.
Yeah, this. I don't feel like this is a buckle up moment for any of these movies. Maybe it is. Like I said, it could just be that the synopsis doesn't really do its job. But having said that, I'm going to say that maybe these are I'm going to say. I'll say like 6.3 to 5 is the range.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna rate these kind of like, maybe they're just hidden gems, but that's what I'm feeling. And then as far as the order, gosh, I have no idea. I'm gonna say that. So the 2016 film was which movie again? It was the
Hollow Point.
That's okay. And then the 2018 film was the Standoff at Sparrow Creek.
Correct.
And then Into the Ashes was the 2019. So I'm going to say that Standoff at Sparrow Creek is number 1. Why? I don't know. It sounds like out of the 3, that's the one that's kind of, at least for me, most intriguing. Why? Again, I don't know why, but and I will say a close second is the Hollow Point.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it sounds like you got some actiony bits there. Plus, you said
Patrick Wilson bump
was there, and then you also said that wasn't it this director that also directed Apollo 18?
Yes.
So again, maybe like people are going, not to say that Apollo 18 was an amazing film either, but maybe people are going back to this and like seeing work and being like, oh, okay, this is better. Again, not to disparage Apollo 18, even though I clearly am.
That was great on him for that being. I think that was either his. I didn't make a note of it, but that was either his directorial debut or his second film. I don't remember. That's really interesting. Like, good job on him if that was his debut. And he got like a wide theatrical release.
Exactly, and we can have a whole other conversation about, and maybe a whole other show about
Moon Rocks and
about films that even though maybe they're not of a certain expected or desired quality, that doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't like achievements as far as that director or cast or crew goes. But yeah, so I'm going to say that the Hollow Point is second for all those reasons. Plus, like you said, the Patrick bump there. So that leaves third, and maybe, like I said, maybe 5 was too low. But I'm going to say third is Into the Ashes, only because the title is a little weird, I think.
Ooh.
So based on
Bad
title,
job,
based on poor titling alone, because again, like it's hard for like these modern films and like the title choices, because if this was, if you were to like set these back 30 years, all 3 of these, then you could be like, okay, Into the Ashes just like maybe that stands out on like the shelf of like a rental store or something like along those lines. But you come to like more present day, and it's like things can't really air quotes stand out on like the menu of Amazon Prime or whatever. So as far as that, and then again, like there's also the theatrical element of that clearly, but either way you cut this, I just don't feel like Into the Ashes is a great title. So I want to say that one's third. Just on that alone, I doubt IMDb users are rating this movie just on the title, but that's where I'm going to put it.
I'm sure there's a few assholes who probably did.
The movie was actually
1 star.
Yeah, the movie was fantastic, but the title fucking sucks. So 1 star. Yeah.
Well, I'll say
Logs
that
on to IMDb right now and does that.
You were pretty much like across the board on point on this one. So
I thought you were going to say across the board dead wrong. These
Nope.
are all in the 8s and the reverse order, and Into the Ashes won the Academy Award.
The lowest rating on these with a 5.0.
Oh wow,
is
nailed that.
Into the Ashes.
Holy shit, I bullseyed that one.
Yep. In the middle with a 5.4.
Okay.
You have The Hollow Point.
Okay.
And then the highest one with a 6.1 is The Standoff at Sparrow Creek.
Okay, I did say that The Hollow Point was closer to The Standoff at Sparrow Creek as far. I did say close second on that one, but that's interesting. I got that pretty much spot on. Do you have just real quick? If you don't have it, don't worry about it. But do you have how many people have rated Into the Ashes?
Oh, I do not.
Okay, that's fine.
But what I do have is
go
Tag Me.
Tag Me. Tag me.
Really quickly, we're going to go through this. This is under a section on IMDb called Plot Details, or as it's apparently listed on the computer website, Plot Keywords. For some reason, it's different on the phone app. But this is essentially like a seemingly random selection of keywords and phrases that in some way are maybe loosely related to the actual film.
Right.
They're basically tags. You can click on them and it'll show you other movies that have the same tag.
If there are any. Yes.
Yes. So starting off in The Hollow Point, we're going to have alcoholic.
Okay.
We have Mexican.
I mean, clearly, because it's on the border. Yeah, sure.
We have both severed arm and severed hand.
Are those separate tags?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. I wonder if it's separate scenes. Like there's one that is an actual severed hand.
Yeah, like if the hand is severed from the arm, and then the arm is also severed from the body.
Oh, so you're saying that like there's two cuts on the same limb.
Yeah.
Okay.
They cut the hand off and then they cut the rest of the arm off.
Just to doubly make sure that you can't sew it back on. Fuck you. You're going to cut it twice.
Yeah, we have a couple more really quick on this film. We have Kill List.
Okay.
We have Police Car.
Ooh.
And we're going to have Visiting a Grave.
Okay.
Yep. So there is The Hollow Point. Does that make you want to watch it?
Well, yeah, because I'm only curious about, is it a severed hand? Is it a severed arm?
We need to find out.
Or is it two separate instances of severed something? Because I feel like these tags, again, they're possibly user submitted, and I feel like I feel like something gets severed below the elbow, and I feel like someone didn't know if it was, is this, like, where's the line? Is this just hand and wrist, or is this arm?
I like picturing the mental struggle of the person who's typing.
Well, I mean, it was a little bit more than than just the
it was
wrist.
A forearm, but am I going to put severed forearm? That doesn't make sense.
I mean, he still flailed his arm around. There was like a stub below the elbow, so
but maybe
backspace
it's
all this, just the wrist,
same
just
dude.
the hand.
They cut off his left hand, but then they cut off his right arm. What if it's two different limbs of the same guy?
Right, or it could just be two different people, right?
Yeah.
But I want it to be what you said.
Maybe that's how he makes his friend at work. Like his friend at work has a severed hand that's missing, but he has a severed arm. Was it?
That's
was Into the Ashes, the one that had that?
Yeah, Into the Ashes is the one with making a friend.
Right.
Yeah. No, this is the cartel movie.
Damn it.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to know if I hope it's what you said, where it's the same person's same arm, same limb,
two cuts on the same limb.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I
I did want to see it a little bit more. I mean, it sounds sort of like Sicario or
Sicario.
whatever. Yeah, it sounds sort of like that, and then maybe like an old country for. No, sorry, a new country for old men. old country for new men.
Old country for no men.
That's the prequel. it's when the country was new. There was a time. This is a tangent. There was a time where I mistakenly forgot. Well, not forgot. I do what I do, which is why this show exists. But I got the title switched for "There Will Be Blood" and "No Country for Old Men."
Yeah,
and that was a mistake. Both.
I can see that.
Good movies in their own right, but I think the title there could be switched for either of those films, and it would still fit. Yeah.
There's like no blood, and There Will Be Blood almost,
and there's definitely old men, and There Will Be Blood.
He gets. Yeah, exactly. I can absolutely see that. They came out the same year.
Exactly. I rest my case.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge you for that.
Okay, thank you.
We can move on.
But you will continue to judge me for Descent and The Descent.
Yeah, that one is fairly embarrassing. But
yeah, no, it is.
But also at the same time, I can also understand that because it's literally a difference of so it's easy to see how you could like pick the wrong movie.
And
by
now
accident.
You know why on this show, on this episode specifically, but also this show, I always say was it the?
Yeah.
Because I want to know for sure if it was.
It could be another movie that's just called Standoff at Sparrow Creek. It's possible.
Completely different, by the way. It's about a dancer who lost her way.
Maybe we can start our own kind of like asylum-esque company where we just we do a separate movie, but we remove the word "the" from the title, so we can produce a movie called Hateful Eight. We can produce
you just ride the coattails of slightly forgotten titles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway, off of that tangent, we can move on. The tag me for the Standoff at Sparrow Creek.
Yes.
Really quick segment on this one because the only one that's listed is police. So
that's
good job, IMDb.
So that's a huge part of this is police.
Yep, the only part of it, evidently.
Not the marriage. Oh, sorry, no, that was.
Yeah, this is the
Into the Ashes, right?
Militia Man one.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
We're going to end with Into the Ashes.
One more side tangent. Does this movie not sound like a Jackie Chan movie from the 80s?
No, it does not.
No, I know it's not, but I said, does it sound like it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. It just feels like Jackie Chan could have played this. And I don't know why I think that, but it feels like he could have played an ex-police officer who went, solo.
I'm sure he's played that many times. Yeah.
Well, exactly. So there's already that, precedent. But then he gets pulled back into this police shooting at a funeral thing. I don't know why, but maybe it's the rum. But I feel like this could be a Jackie Chan movie.
Maybe it's Rush Hour 2.
I think we make one called Standoff at Sparrow Creek without the.
Yeah.
And we cast Jackie Chan.
We get Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Old, still box office in China smash hit.
That's
Jackie
right.
Chan.
Legend. Okay, last movie, Into the Ashes, please.
Yep, Into the Ashes. We're going to start with Kiss.
The band or the action?
Unclear.
I hope it's the band.
We have Coffee.
Okay.
We have Dead Woman.
Ooh, okay.
We have Dead Man.
Ooh.
We have Reading a Magazine.
Oh, interesting.
and Magazine has its own separate tag. Tattooed Man. Wound. Or Wound. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know which pronunciation that would be.
Maybe there's like a music box or something like that that's a part of this movie.
We have a few different, a lot of car specific things. We have U.S. car.
Okay.
We have Chevrolet motor vehicle. It's a tag. We have Ford F-150. So somebody just watched this movie and then was like, "Oh, I saw a Ford, I saw a Cadillac," and they just wanted to notate every specific car that's featured.
And then, but I'm also, again, as always, these link to other films. So I'm really curious how many other films have a Ford F-150 in the tag.
Ford F-150. Let's find out. How many other movies have Ford F-150 as a tag? There are 33.
Okay. So there you go.
Including the Denis Villeneuve film Prisoners.
Right.
Twister. The Fast and the Furious. Showgirls.
Did Twister have a Ford F-150?
According to this section of IMDb.
Was Joe's yellow Ford truck an F-150? I thought that was a different type of... I thought it was like a Ranger or something.
I don't know vehicles.
I want to dispute that tag. Who do I call? Who do I email?
Let me see. I wonder. There's like one of those things where it's like the letter I within a circle. See more information about this. I wonder if there's like a I dispute this tag button.
Did you find this helpful? No.
Yeah, some of these, if you go to the movie and you go to the tags on the movie, it actually does have helpful thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay.
So maybe I can go to Twister's page and give that a thumbs down on the F-150.
Wait. Twisters or Twister?
Twister.
First one. Okay.
Yep. 1996.
I just didn't realize that if that is a Ford F-150, that was the model of that Ford.
And this was, what was that car again?
It's our side podcast.
We can move on into a
quote time.
This is where I go to the quote section on IMDb, and I pick a quote from one of these three movies. I'm going to read it in a style of Will's choosing. He's going to give me scene direction on this, and I'm going to deliver the line, and then he tries to guess which movie this quote came from.
And you said you have not seen any of these?
I have seen The Standoff at Sparrow Creek, and I will say that the quote that you have this week is one line delivered by one character.
Okay, 1 and 1. Okay, so I don't know what the line is, and my goal is to try to hopefully guess correctly the movie from which I pull a character for you to do from. Okay.
You got a group of very masculine centric, a lot of testosterone going on in these three flicks.
There is here. Okay, but that actually wasn't really what I was thinking about going for. So in the first film, we've got a sheriff. And also maybe a cartel. In the second
Mexicans,
film, probably. Well, cartel. We'll just group those together in a generalized racial way. Second film, we have a former police officer and a funeral. So I'm gonna assume that there's some kind of widow or widower at the funeral.
Yeah.
And then the third film, we have Nick. We have his partners. We have his friend at work. we have the sheriff and the sheriff's daughter all to play with. And
I really hope. I want to just say really fast that I hope the friend at work ends up okay in the end of this movie. I hope that no harm comes to them.
Do you think they'll still stay friends?
That's the true plot is like whether or not their friendship will last
into the ashes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually where I was going to go with this character description. I would like you. So you have just. I want you to play the sheriff's daughter.
Okay.
You have just met Nick, and you instantly were in. I wouldn't call it love yet, but you were kind of struck by him. Okay. Yeah. And so much so that you're going to go tell now you don't know that Nick is a former criminal. You don't know anything of that about Nick. You just met Nick. You're clearly like you've got like the excitement butterflies in your stomach. So you're excited. You have to tell somebody about this guy, and you go to Daddy, the which I'm assuming that's what she calls him. You go to Daddy, who is a sheriff, to tell him about this man that you just met. Okay. On your action, the one line.
Yep. Okay. And your quote reads as follows: "It takes a willing hand to punish horrible men."
Okay. It takes a willing hand to punish horrible men.
That's what she says to her dad.
I just met the guy I want to marry, and it takes a willing hand to punish horrible men. All right. I'm pretty sure I don't have the character right, but I don't know if I have the movie right or not. I think maybe I still do. Okay, it takes a willing hand to punish horrible men. I can only hear it in this, like, I can't wait to tell him.
She's
Dad.
On cloud nine, like so excited.
I was at the bar last night. I didn't even know who I was going to meet. I was just there to drink, and I met this man, and he's young, and he's new in town, and he has a friend at work, and it takes a willing hand to punish horrible men. And her dad's like, what?
That's great, honey.
That's great. It sounds like you got your head on right. Okay. It takes a willing hand to punish horrible men.
Yeah, this ends with an ellipses also, as written on IMDb.
Continues.
After men.
I mean, this could really be like the tagline for the Hollow Point. Which is kind of where I'm leaning. But I mean, okay, so it takes a willing hand to punish horrible men. The sheriff is the only one we know of in Into the Ashes that might be an actual good guy. Because Nick, even though he left this life of crime, he was still in that life of crime, and then apparently also ran away with the spoils. So I wouldn't think he's the one that has the willing hand. He is a horrible man, technically. Whereas our former police officer who's investigating a shooting at a police burial, maybe he's the willing hand, but I really feel like I got the movie and the character wrong, and I think this is the Hollow Point, and it's someone talking to this sheriff. I think the sheriff is like nervous to confront, or maybe like hesitant to confront the cartel, or even has been like he wants to confront them, but he's been told, hey, you don't mess with them. And then someone maybe tells him, it takes a willing hand to punish a horrible... Maybe. So I'm going to go with The Hollow Point from 2016.
All right. Well, you are correct in that. It is delivered by a character named Leland, played by Ian McShane.
Leland. Ian McShane. Okay. I know that name. All right. And you said you have seen this one? No?
No, I have not.
Right. That's what I was thinking. So... I mean, I got to know where this happens, why this is said. I kind of already set it up a little bit as far as someone talking to the sheriff, but maybe they're not. But I would almost like for us to take a bet, because we haven't really updated the Letterboxd in a while. We've both been sort of busy.
Oh yeah, I did watch Cold in July, and I need to
right, but that was very recently. So before that episode, we haven't really been attentive to that, so I would like to get back into that, and maybe this will be another reason to do that. So in this instance, I say we try to actually play this a little bit more straight, and we actually try to figure out where this happens, what happens. We can have fun with it like always, but let's actually try to pinpoint what really does happen in the movie.
Well, my initial guess, the first thing that came to mind for me is it is the sheriff, Patrick Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that this Leland character is like a deputy or his partner or something.
Oh, okay.
And this line is delivered near the beginning of it, after the drug cartel deal went horribly wrong. And so they're at the crime scene where the dead bodies are sprawled about. And they're like Leland is crouched down next to one of the bodies, and he says, "It takes a willing hand to punish horrible men."
Okay, and then ... Does he say anything after that, or does he get cut off? Does he? What's the follow up to that?
He just looks off into the distance.
Okay, so you're saying that happens early on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I'm gonna say so.
So that's your. So don't forget yours, because I'm gonna change my guess.
I won't forget mine.
I'm gonna say I do agree that this happens pretty early on. I will say like first act, going into second, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking that you said the character's name is Leland?
Yeah, I wanted to add also really fast, not to cut off your thought process, but I was going to say maybe he recognizes like one of whoever, like he's crouched down there, and maybe he recognizes one of the dead people as being like this wanted drug criminal or something like that, and that's why he says the line.
Okay.
Like maybe he knows like this is
a not good person.
Slippery Dan.
Right. Yeah, this isn't just a random victim.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to change a whole lot, I don't think, in my prediction. I was just thinking that I agree with you that it probably happens early on, probably the end of the first act or going into the second somewhere. I also want to say that I do think it happened after some event, but I don't know if it's the event in question, like the drug cartel deal gone bad. I think this is like stuff leading up to that. Because the synopsis does say that this new sheriff is investigating.
Investigates a drug cartel deal that went horribly wrong. Yeah.
So maybe it did happen early on. But I was thinking that, at least in my thing, I was thinking that like that hasn't happened yet. That he's he's new sheriff, and like he didn't just get dropped this huge case. It was like he's been sheriff for a short while, but he's still new. And then things start to happen, and then that leads up to the big drug cartel.
If I became sheriff of Blackwater, then it would be an easy gig.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting any of this cartel stuff.
So I'm going to say that this event where this line takes place is one of the earlier events that leads up to this, and I'm
going to guess that the opening scene. I'm going to take a gamble on the opening scene of the movie.
Okay,
it opens.
But wait, night. But this is not where the line happens. This is just a different gamble.
This is like maybe even a scene or two before this line comes up. The opening scene, we have like the screen opens black. We have text fade onto the screen, like with the production companies and stuff like that, and we hear the sound of the nighttime desert, and we hear like vehicles drive up.
Okay.
And then the first image we see, there's like 2 or 3 vehicles with their headlights on, all kind of like in a kind of a circle.
Yeah.
Or facing each other.
Right.
And the cartel guys stand, like they move into the headlights. Whoever they're trying to make a deal with move into the headlights. And the opening scene is this deal that went horribly wrong, where like a shootout happens right off the bat.
Okay, so that's two separate guesses for you, because you're saying that the line happens a little bit after that.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
This is the event that triggers the plot.
Okay, so I'm going to say that the line takes place early on as well. First act. It is after some kind of crime was committed, but I think it's not the big thing yet, or the big that's going to be investigated. I think this is just like a... things have been happening around this town. The locals kind of are aware of who may be doing it, but are too afraid to act upon it. And I'm saying that Leland is not a deputy. I'm saying Leland is like a like the local bartender. He's somebody in town that kind of knows the gossip of the town or knows how things work, but he isn't like an official capacity of some kind, right? I mean, you could even maybe say maybe the mayor, but I don't even know if it's like that level of officialness. I think he's just a guy who is well aware of things that are happening. And like I said, these are some kind of crimes that have been happening. I do like you what you said. Like this is immediately after something happened. Leland's there as well, and I think that they're having a conversation specifically about who Leland thinks this is, or who's behind this stuff.
It's just some kids.
No, he definitely thinks it's the cartel, right? And the sheriff is even somebody else is also there on scene. And that other person says, "Oh, well, you can't go up against them. They're the cartel." And then that's whenever Leland says, it takes a willing hand to what now? What's the line?
Punish horrible men.
It takes a willing hand to punish horrible men. And that's whenever the sheriff comes on this. The new sheriff comes into the scene. We've already met him. in the film, but this is like he literally like makes his entrance into this scene right after Leland says that line, as to kind of say like, oh, clearly he's the willing, whatever. So sheriff isn't quite on scene yet. Leland's already there. Sheriff's on his way. Leland and someone else is having a conversation. Cartel's mentioned. The other person says you can't go up against them. Leland says, takes a willing hand to punish horrible men. Sheriff enters. That's how I think that scene goes. And I think it's, like I said, like right around the end of the first act where he starts he starts getting more curious about who's behind this, and then something big happens in the second act that is that drug deal or whatever deal gone bad. Second bet, though, since you did it, I'll do it as well, and then we'll wrap up. I think the intro is pretty close to what you said. I think it is desert, clearly. It'd be weird if this was like the one part of the Mexican border that was like,
the big city.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a big city, yeah, but I was thinking something like, pine trees and, snow or whatever. So clearly, I think I agree. I like the opening scene. It's like twilight, maybe not quite dark, but setting sun. Like there's something in the distance. I like the idea of the cars driving up. You hear like the gravel or the sand crunch and the headlights. I agree with all of that. However, I'm going to add, basically I'm taking your idea. I agree with it almost completely. But the one thing that I'm going to add to it is I'm going to say that this is what will become the former sheriff of this town is in a face-off with the cartel, or like the main guy, or whoever is meeting here, right? Not the whole group, of course, but just a couple guys. And I think the sheriff is trying to to say, hey, leave my town alone. Like we're good, we're smart, whatever. He's trying to like make it something to where these guys go away, and the cartel leader's like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. I think this is where the sheriff dies. So then there's a gap between sheriff dying and like new sheriff being found and coming in. And that's the action that brings this new sheriff to a small town. That's what I'm going to go with. Mm-hmm. Sheriff dies in the beginning, but otherwise it's the same thing that you described. I like the headlights thing, and yeah, that's all in there. So we'll have to go see, and then we'll write up about it. And as Thomas said, he did just watch Cold in July, right? Yeah. So he'll be writing up about that. The reason I've been behind, well, other than just being bad about writing about these things and watching the movies, but I've also been doing a streak of horror films for the fall season. And I need to go and look back on the ones that we've already done on the show and try to watch those to get those under our belt. But anyway, that's my lame excuse for why I haven't written on Letterboxd lately.
Yeah, I almost sent you a video of Don Johnson saying, "All right, boys, it's Howdy Doody time."
Oh my gosh.
But I didn't.
I do want to see that. All right. Well, I guess we'll go watch that, do our homework, and we'll hopefully report back. Not next episode, but in the nearest future, within the month maybe. We've got a few episodes lined up already coming out, so we'll try to get back and remember to recap our prediction here for the Hollow Point. Wait, what was that called again? Thank you very much.